My name is Susan Moe, Senior Architect and Certified Access Specialist, and I will be presenting this topic, that is amendments to the California Building Code in the 2019 edition of Chapters 2 and various divisions within Chapter 11B. A definition that has been amended and is reflected in the 2019 edition of the California Building Code under Chapter 2, Definitions, is that for riser. The amended definition states, a riser is the upright part between two adjacent stair treads, between either an upper or lower landing and an adjacent stair tread, or between two adjacent landings. The definition for step and tread have been repealed to provide clarity for the requirement to provide handrails when only one riser is provided. A provision in Section 11B 206.2.19, Pedestrian Street Crossings, has been included in the 2019 edition of the California Building Code. This particular provision existed in previous editions of the California Building Code and has been amended and now included in the current edition. The section reads, where walks or sidewalks are provided, a curb ramp, blended transition, or a combination of curb ramps and blended transitions, complying with Section 11B 406, must connect the walks or sidewalks at each pedestrian street crossing. The curb ramp, excluding any flared sides or blended transition, must be completely contained within the width of the pedestrian street crossing served. There is an exception that states compliance with this section is not required where a pedestrian street crossing is prohibited by the administrative authority. Under Section 11B 207, Accessible Means of Egress, you'll now find an exception number 3, which states accessible means of egress are not required to be provided in existing buildings. The reason for this amendment is due to the fact that this exception, currently in Section 1009, is being repealed and instead will be included in the International Existing Building Code. Due to the fact that DSA for access compliance does not adopt the International Existing Building Code, you will now find this exception under Section 11B 207.1 in the 2019 edition of the California Building Code. Another amendment to the California Building Code is under Section 11B 248, Common Use Areas and Employee Work Areas. Under Section 11B 248.1, Common Use Areas, it states, common use areas must comply with Chapter 11B. Under Section 11B 248.2, Employee Work Areas, it states employee work areas must comply with Chapter 11B. These sections provide explicit scoping for common use areas and employee work areas that are required to comply with the accessibility provisions in Chapter 11B. The Division of the State Architect Access Compliance Unit is required at times to promulgate regulations due to statute. Section 11B 249, Adult Changing Facilities, is one of those instances where the regulations were promulgated due to statute. What you would see in the scoping section under 11B 249.1.2, it states a minimum of one adult changing facility is required only in newly constructed places of public amusement, complying with Section 11B 813. In Section 11B 813.1, which provides technical provisions, it states adult changing facilities must be provided within a unisex, single-user, or family toilet room or other private room. In Section 11B 608.2.1, transfer type shower compartments, you will find Sublevel scoping that states transfer type shower compartment provisions have been added specifically related to transient lodging, undergraduate student housing, and residential dwelling units. An amendment new to Section 11B 502.5, vertical clearance, addresses the issue in existing multi-story parking facilities, the car parking spaces, access aisles, and vehicular routes serving them that must provide 80 inches minimum vertical clearance. The existing vertical clearance between 80 inches minimum and 98 inches maximum must be maintained. It's important to note that this exception does not apply to van parking spaces, access aisles, or vehicular routes serving them. This exception is meant to address those existing multi-story parking facilities where it would be not only cost prohibitive but technically infeasible to make adjustments to the vertical clearance.